Good afternoon and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Max, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today is Max's ability to understand and respond to his obedience commands, the corrections and motivations we give him while we are working with him, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, leaving his left hand free to give the correction. Correction that we give is a tug and let go to the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Max has been fitted with his own personal training collar, and we'll show you how to properly use this during your one-on-one lesson. Now, as you can see, Max is seated nicely on Fred's left, which is where all our obedience training is done. In the first command, they're going to demonstrate his heeling, which is proper walking on a leash. And Fred and Max take off doing that now. The command you want to use for this is Max heel, and then you just start walking and he'll fall right in line on your left-hand side. We've also gone ahead and incorporated our sit command into this. So anytime Fred stops his feet, Max will sit. There's an example there. And it's important when you're heeling Max that he walks nicely at your pace without trying to pull ahead of you or lag behind. If he did attempt this, you say no, give a tug and let go correction to that training collar, repeat your command to heel, and then start walking again. Now the next command they'll demonstrate is our stay command, which is a hand and voice command. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm, an inch or so from Max's muzzle, and the one-word command to stay. He then walks out to the end of the training leash. Now this is a great exercise to build up self-control in Max. You can start practicing this one at about a minute's time and work your way up in increments until you get to about 3 minutes. Now as Fred returns back to Max, he's going to walk all the way around him, providing an added distraction as he goes behind, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. Max remains seated throughout. Fred gives him a little praise and then heels him right out of it. And he's going to show you a little more of the heel sit and stay here. There's that automatic sit again. And now he demonstrates a stay one more time. Hand right in front, one word to stay, out to the end of that leash. This time he gives him a second to hold it, and then he'll demonstrate our come or recall command instead of returning back to Max. Calls him in using his name. Max gets right up, comes into Fred. Fred will have him sit in front. And then we have a move called the finish. Fred's going to heel Max right around the back of him and gets him right back to his left-hand side heel position, and he sits. He'll demonstrate that recall one more time. He has Max in a sit, he gives him a stay, out to the end of the training leash. He gives him a second to hold it, and then calls him in. Max gets right up and comes into Fred and sits in front. And then the finish one more time. He heels him right around the back of him and right back to his left-hand side, and he sits. Alright, it's a good time to remind you want to practice all your commands with Max about 15 to 20 minutes a day. You can practice inside or outside your home, and then just start incorporating the commands into your daily routines with him. Now next up are going to be our down commands. The first is down from a heel position. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm straight down to the ground and the one-word firm command to down. He then gives him a stay and walks out to the end of that training leash. Now this is another great exercise to build up that self-control. You can start practicing this one at about a minute's time, or even 2 minutes, and work your way up in increments until you get to about 5 minutes. As Fred returns back to Max, he's going to walk all the way around him, just as he did on the sit stay, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. He holds that down throughout, and Fred heels him right out of it. And he'll show you that down again when he comes back around. Now you see Max is doing very well, but it's always important to follow through with your commands. So if at any point you give Max a command and he does not respond, or he breaks one of his stays, the first word out of your mouth should always be no, followed by a tug and let go correction to his training collar, and then you repeat the command you'd given him. Fred's going to give him the down one more time, and a stay, and back out to the end of that training leash. Now this time he'll give him a second to hold it, and then he'll demonstrate that recall command, this time right out of the down position. Calls him in. Max gets right up, comes over to Fred, sits in front, and then the finish one more time right around the back and right back to your left-hand side heel position, and he sits. Very nice job. Alright, we'll give them a second to get lined up for our final command, which will be down from a distance. Now this will be your down from a distance. You're going to have Max in a sit, give him a stay, walk out to the end of your training leash. Now this is the only time we use our right hands to give the command, and Fred will drop him into a down from the end of the training leash. And then he'll wind up returning back to him once again, walking all the way around, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. Very nicely done. Heels him out of it. Alright, we've demonstrated for you our basic obedience commands we've been working on with Max while he's been here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Max, and we thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.